What's up, everybody? I'm Cuzzo Costo. This is my life story from innocent child to convicted killer. Okay, where we left off. And before I go into this, make sure you guys stick around to the end because I have a special message for everybody. So, as I said, I had to visit my brothers. They brought up Mason's girlfriend. And we were flirting a little bit behind Mason's back. I told my brothers, tell her to write me, if she wants. And she did. And, okay. Now, me and her, we're writing back and forth. But, and again, I already know. You don't got to tell me. I was being an asshole. I was being a dickhead. A lot of these stories, that's all you're going to hear because that's what I was. Okay? When you're in prison, and I had to learn this the hard way, but when you're in prison, you need to worry about your fucking self and no one else. I get it's a good feeling when someone comes that you already know from the streets, that you know personally, it's a good feeling. You get to reminisce about the neighborhood, gossip about everybody, find out what you missed, what was going on while they were out there and you were in there. And it's just, I don't know, it's just a good feeling. So a lot of times you will vouch for people when you shouldn't. I did this. Now, because I was going behind Mason's back, it was everything was a secret, but at the same time, everybody knew. Like, okay, so Mason, he was pretty much, and not, to be a dick or anything, but like his whole bid was, in the beginning, was just riding off my coattails. Like, instead of introducing yourself, like, hi, I'm Mason, this is who I am, this is what I'm about. It's, hey, I'm Mason, Cuzzo's boy. Every fucking time. And yeah, if, he carried himself correctly, then yeah, who cares? But this is what was going on. A lot of my homies started to dislike Mason. He was just doing scumbag shit after scumbag shit. And now he's getting in drug debts. And I ain't helping him. I'm not fucking helping him. Figure it out, bro. Like, so, with all this going on, and Mason got himself in a serious debt, all my homies, especially, and I gotta shout him out, bro. Shout out to Ice Pick Nick. For those of you that don't know, that's Nick Napoli. Napoli as in Breed. The MC Club Breed. They kept playing their shit on Gangland, if you remember that on the History Channel, over and over again. Vicious MC Club out of PA. Straight out of Croydon, out by Philly. But he gave me an idea, and he's like, bro, just fucking tell him that you're talking to her, that's what it is. He's a bitch. Who cares? Like, I was getting gassed up a little bit, but whatever. I said, fuck it, because I want visits. But, we was worried about getting caught, and personally, I wasn't, but it was more her. But anyways, bro, my homie, Nick, and all his homies, they go get Mason. Bring him over. Yo, this is what's going down. Because I'll just bust it down because I got to explain it anyways. Another piece of shit thing I did. So as I'm talking to Mason's girl back and forth, and mind you, we're cool. Like, it wasn't just like I'm just trying to use you and whatever. We were cool. But just like anybody, money's money, bro. Money's money. Everybody wants money. So I'm explaining to her, a couple moves that I busted before with other girls that came to see me. And I'm like, we can make a lot of money. Like everybody's already having me sell their shit. So no one will even realize that it's my personal shit. They're just going to think that like either, my Crip homies got a pack in or the Latin Kings gave me something to hustle or Bloods gave me something. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what I'm known for. So perfect. Because see, when you're in prison, if you are the one bringing in the packages, you do not want to be the one distributing them. That's how you're going to get caught, bro. Everybody in there talks. Everybody sees everything. And half the prison population is ratting, bro. There's a lot of people secretly, they might not do it for personal gain. They might just do it on some hate and shit. And that's called dropping slips. You know what I'm saying? Where you're just going to anonymously put that shit in there just because you're fucking hate. Bro, people would do weird shit. But that's why I moved like this. So Mason comes up, and this is in front of a lot of people, man. There's maybe 20-something of us. And I'm trying to go about it, like trying to be nice about it. And then Nick's just like, look, he's with your girl. That girl ain't yours. All right? She don't even like you, bro. She been talking to Cuzzo, so take her off your visit list. Like when we go in from yard, you're taking her off your list. And Mason's looking at me like, and I'm like, bro, I tried to talk, like, but you doing too much, and like, I'm trying to bust a move. So, the arrangement that I worked out with Mason, because I didn't trust him. Like, I know how he is in the real world, so I went to him and was like, look, bro, I am talking to her, but we're about to bust moves, okay? You're fucking in debt. Like, I've been hearing some rumors about how you've been paying them debts. Like, I'm not going to get into that, but like, bro, nobody's fucking with you right now because of them room. Like, I don't know what to tell you, bro. Like, but I'll look out. I'll help you get out of your debt as long as you just be cool about this, bro. You'll benefit. And, what I'm breaking down to him is we about to smuggle some shit in, and I'll bust you off a little. I mean, he's been begging her nonstop to send money. She's telling me all this shit. What's up? You want in? All right, so everything's a go. He takes her off the visit list. And the reason why we had to do this is because when you're in prison, if the person's not immediate family, they can't be on more than one visit list. You can't do that because they know what it is. We're trying to bust moves. We're trying to do all kinds of shit. So they have all these bullshit ass rules to prevent it. So that's why Mason had to take her off the visit list. So let's fast forward. We're going to bust the move. Okay. Now, she did come up a few times before this, just, peeping situation out, seeing what's up. Everything was cool, man. Everything was cool. Everything was normal. She comes in. You got it? Yeah, I got it. Okay, look, you know the drill. All right, bet. She's going to the bathroom. She's going to take her shit out. Now, not to get too graphic, but you guys can use your brain, common sense, how it got in there. So she goes in the bathroom, gets the pack out, and when she sits down next to me, I got a bag of popcorn. When she goes to grab some popcorn, she's going to drop them in there. And when she drops them in there, hold on, I got to paint the picture. We're in the visiting room. It's packed. Tons of prisoners, tons of family members. Around the whole perimeter of the visiting room is these two-way mirrors, okay? And some of them are like attorney-client. Some of them are, COs that's sitting there and they're scoping out the visit room. It wasn't COs. Well, it was COs, but not just COs in there. So, sit down. She drops the shit in the popcorn. And boom, one of them doors flies open. It's fucking not only COs, but state police. Yeah, state police. And in front of everybody, they arrest us. And she is bawling her eyes out, crying. And all I could think of to say is, don't tell them shit. Don't ask for a lawyer. Don't tell them nothing. And they're arresting me. Yeah, in prison, cuffing me up in front of everybody, dragging me out. And they put me in the strip room. And yeah, I'm going to the hole. About 2 or 3 days later, I get called to security office. Now, what security is they're like the police, okay, of prison. You have guards, COs, regular, but security are the ones that not only be busting us, but they bust other guards and shit, right? They're also one of the most corrupt COs. Like, they be doing the most illegal shit too. But they call me to security, and immediately in my head, they're just, trying to get me to rat. Which, yeah, that was part of it, but I got charged. I got street charges. And they read me my rights. You have the right to remain silent, anything. And I'm thinking in my head, I'm already in prison. Look, what do you read me my rights for? But they did. And then as soon as they're done, the captain of security got a deal for you. And, we know you're just a young kid. This is your first time ever in prison. You don't want to add any more time. Trying to scare me type shit. And I'm not saying nothing. I'm letting them talk. And they said, we got a deal for you. Okay? People have been telling on you for the longest. Okay? There's a lot of people that do not like you. And they're dropping slips. We know that you are dealing for not just your gang, but you're dealing for anybody and everybody in here that's bringing in packages. We know you are. I'm nodding my head, but I'm not saying anything. See, when you're quiet and don't say shit, it makes other people feel awkward and they want to keep talking. Usually, they're supposed to be doing these tactics on me, but they weren't built like that, I guess. But yeah, I got them to just keep talking and telling me everything. And when they sensed that okay, he's still not talking, he's still not saying, they started trying to, put fear in me. So you understand you're looking at 5 years. added on to your time. You realize you got what, 4 or 5 different charges? We could give you 90 days for every charge. Running wild, running consecutive, which means you got to do 90 days on that charge, then 90 days on that charge, and 90 days. That's all solitary confinement time. Yeah. And I'm hearing all this, and I'm not going to lie, I was scared. I was very scared, bro. I was sick to my stomach. They didn't know that. I didn't let them know that shit. But now that I'm talking to all y'all, I was scared as fuck. I was scared. But they offered me a crazy deal. They said that they will transfer me to any prison that I want to go to in my region. Because remember, I said, this is my first prison. They sent me all the way out by Philly. That's the complete opposite side of Pennsylvania where Pittsburgh is. But that's not it. Not only do they offer to transfer me to any prison I want to go to, they offer, all I have to do is tell them where all this jailhouse money is that, I either dropped off or personally had, whatever. They're going to round it up and not only give it to me, but they're going to let the next prison that I go to know that I'm one of the good guys, that I'm a rat, and I get to keep all that stuff. Jailhouse money is jailhouse money. That's everywhere. Now, anybody that's done prison time, every prison is completely different. Okay? Your state could have 20 prisons. Each prison is ran completely different. You got different politics, different gang wars going on, subject to change at any time. But this was the end of their rant. My silence ain't getting them to talk no more. They're waiting for my response. And my response was, so, like, what they told me at Camp Hill, how they were going to keep me in my region, you mean if I help you guys can do that? And like, dude, I'm trolling. That wasn't even a word back then, but yeah, I'm trolling, bro. And they're, yeah. And like, as much jail money as I could help you guys find, you'll literally let me take it. Yep. Wow. What about the whole time? Well, you got to do some whole time, where it might look, you might look like you are ratting. So, you could do 30 days. We'll give you 30 days. And after the 30 days, we'll transfer you. Okay. And they're smiling. They're smiling as shit. So now, and that's all. Okay. Now they're waiting. I'm sitting there. I'm back to silent. Just nod my head, bro. Like, it's not that I'm just like totally fearless. It's when I'm in a situation that I know I'm fucked, there's nothing I could possibly do about it. Nothing. So it's like something in me just doesn't want anyone to ever feel like they're breaking me or, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it, but I was scared the whole time, but I'm still trolling. And, I ended it with, okay, go fuck yourself. And, they lost it. They were snapping. But they did try again before I left. Like, it's your last fucking chance. Your life's gonna be fucking hell. And then the one lieutenant, he's like, he'll break. His first review, he'll break. When you're doing a long solitary confinement whole sentence, every 90 days you go to a board that's called the PRC board, and they review your shit and see if you're eligible to, get out. And what I ended up getting found guilty of was 4 separate charges. I got 4 different misconducts. I got 90 days for each charge. So Do the math. Yeah, that's 5 days less than a year. 360 days. That's what they gave me. For some fucking marijuana. Well, actually, they gave it to me because I wouldn't rat. They wanted me to rat. But how the state police got involved, okay? So like they said, a bunch of people were hating on me and dropping slips and ratting and all that shit. They couldn't bust me. Like, they couldn't catch me. You know, they ran down on my cell a bunch of times, but like, dude, I was getting schooled by all the old heads. Like, all the official old heads that been down in that prison and had a name, had pool in there, they loved me. Like, I was everybody's young boy, bro. So, like, they were schooling me on everything, man. Especially Cuba. Carlos Iglesias. If anybody watching this knows who I'm talking about, young boy Cuba, bro, he schooled the fuck out of me. He taught me the most, bro. I was my boy. And shout out Ice Pick Nick Napoli, Smitty, Rob the Mange, Spider, Bone, Monster, Callie, fucking, bro, just everybody was schooling me. And most of all, and this later became one of my best friends, still to this day. I'm actually about to be his best man in his 10-year wedding anniversary. But we called him in prison, we called him Angry Sean. Or Light Skin Sean. Or Shiz. But, bro, that was my boy. That was my boy. He did a little over 10 years, armed robbery. And he's a success story. He's a success story, man. He did his thing. He ended up moving out Florida. And actually, when I got out, I stayed with him. I stayed with him and his wife because everything was locked down in PA because of COVID. But I don't want to get too off topic. But yeah, Sean, Angry Sean, that is my bro. And I want everybody that's watching this to please put my homie in your guys' prayers. He got in a motorcycle accident, and his kids and his wife were right behind him. And he got severe a brain injury, was in the hospital forever. He's learning how to talk again. He's just going through a real hard time, and it sucks because, like, there's not too many people that do all that time and were that, you know, they were official, respected, feared. But they turned all that into love. And he's a Christian. Please pray for him. I love you, Sean. And shout out to Courtney, too. But, yeah, so I get 360 days. That's what I got in solitary. Now, at first, they had me with a celly, bro. And I'm thinking to myself, like, y'all ain't doing this to me. I already know you guys are coming for me. You guys are going to try and get me to rat before this time ends. So in my head, I know I got a lot of bullshit coming my way. I need to get single cell status. Because if I don't, who knows who they're going to put in there. And they will. They're going to put some big ass fucking booty bandit in there that, you know, I'll have a chance of fucking, losing my shit, bro. I wasn't with that. The celly I had, it wasn't a real equal match. Like, I've always been one of the smallest people, but when you don't see shit coming, you're losing with me. If you don't get me first, or you're not on point or anything like that, I don't care how big you are. But anyways, the dude was cool. I don't want to I'm not saying his name and I'm not going into too much detail, but he got hit a couple times and was restrained and tied up. Hit the button and I straight told on myself. Like, hey, Sully's tied up. If you guys want to save him, you better, come get him. I know, shit like that. Like, if I just say, I want a single cell. Or if I say, I'm going to do something to my Sully, you guys keep playing with me. They don't give a fuck about that. Everyone and their mother just talks, dude, and idle threats that don't mean shit, dude. I was young, but I knew enough to, you gotta put work in. You gotta do something. They're not listening to words. So that's why I did that. That's why I did everything that I did, no matter how crazy it's gonna sound when I'm going through all these. There was a reason to it. And again, I'm not 1090 Jake. So if I was scared, I'm going to tell you guys I was scared. If I got out on in a situation, somebody got out on me, I'm going to say it. I'm not doing this to have everyone on the net look at me as super gangster and this is the most savage white boy. I don't care about any of that. I'm doing this because I want anyone who's watching this, especially younger than me, to see all the pain and bullshit I went through. And maybe they won't. Or maybe somebody that wants to change but don't have the courage. Bro, a lot of people look at me like I'm a lame. I hear what some people are saying behind my back because I'm, going to church now and I'm about pushing peace. It is what it is. I don't care. I feel good. The ones that I love are doing good. I've been through all the bullshit. I've been through pain. I put my work in. Most of the people that talk shit, they've never been through shit. I got people telling me all kinds of talking shit, man, but why would I let that affect me when they're not on my level? And yeah, anybody could say, you ain't nobody, I know who I am. I know what I've done. I know what I've been through. I don't need validation. I just want to help. I want to help others that are really in the mix not go through what I went through. This whole bid was the worst. This whole time was the worst, man. It fucked my mind up a lot. They weren't able to break me, but don't think that shit was easy. I hear so many people, I don't know how you did all that time. And mind you, it was 360 days to start off with. But now, I'm at war with all security and the COs. They want me to rat and I'm not doing it. And they all look at me as I'm just this young white kid bitch that should have broke right then and there. So it's now they're looking at it as we have to break him. We have to break him. Because they know. I sent a kite out. I actually didn't eat for 2 days straight just over this kite. Now I got starved a bunch of times, even longer than 2 days, but this was the first time that they used this on me. And This whole bid ended up being 18 months because I caught more time in there with the bullshit was going through. And for real, it was way more than 18 months. But my mom was in the military at this time, stationed over in Germany, and her friends, they were nonstop trying to save my ass and expose what was going on to me. And eventually it worked, but 18 months. How long it took for me to get out of that situation. But once I got in my single cell status, which, yay, mission complete. I got one of the laundry workers to bring a kite out to my homies and letting everyone know exactly word for word what security offered me. I also went into full detail of what they were asking about. Certain things like whose name is this? Do you know this person? All kinds of shit. I'm letting them know, shit that they were asking. And some of the shit was they were just bragging that they knew, to try and scare me. But I let everyone know. And a few of my homies, they talk shit to the one security captain. Like talking shit, like, yeah, our young boy ain't gonna break. Keep trying. They got life. They don't give a fuck. Well, when that happened, they let me know they knew that I sent the kite out and was talking all that shit on, and I'm not writing in the kite telling them I'm scared, guys. I'm scared. I'll never let anyone, I'm letting you all know that now, but no. No one that ever was locked up with me will sit there and tell you, like, yeah, he was scared. He was this, he was that. No, they're going to tell you, bro, because it was nuts. Because it was crazy, bro. He was shot. Because it was thorough. Because I did this. Because I did. But, like, never mind. There are people that talk shit. It's just they were never locked up with me. I never met them in my life. And they're just thirsty for content. Dude, I'm not gonna lie. When I came home from the 9-month bid, dude, I seen some gay dude claiming he was locked up with me, and I was getting scraped. This ain't getting monetized. I was getting scraped in a mop closet, and then prostituting and shit like that. But it was actually funny. It was funny. But yeah, bro. Anybody that was actually locked up with me, they'll tell you that. But like I'm keeping it real. Most of the crazy things I did, actually all of them, they were calculated and planned. And it wasn't random. I just made everyone think that. There's a lot to get into with this whole trip. It's probably going to take a couple story parts because a lot of bad things happened to me. I went through a lot. But we're going to get into all that on the next story part. And I'm sorry for keeping you guys waiting. I'm going to go back to making a story at least once a week. And love you guys. Thanks for the support. And the end message that I got for all y'all, all you YouTube content creators that I don't know, but used to beef with me and all that, and now are trying to do it again, I get that I was a lot of your guys' content. I get it. But like, I'm not doing it.
caught in the crossfire.